know that feeling when you're constantly trying to explain yourself to someone, but no matter how carefully you word it, it never seems to land? Like you're repeating yourself in circles, hoping they'll finally understand, but it just keeps draining you little by little. Maybe it's a friend, a partner, or even a family member, and somehow you feel like every moment is spent justifying why you feel the way you do, what you want, or even who you are. It's exhausting, isn't it? And more than that, it starts to feel like you're shrinking, like the more you explain, the less space you occupy in your own life. You might even catch yourself thinking, maybe I really am overreacting. Maybe I should have handled that differently. Maybe I am too much. And those thoughts, they sneak in quietly, but they weigh on you heavily over time. Here's the thing, that compulsion to explain yourself, it comes from a very human place. It comes from wanting to be seen, understood, and accepted. You're not trying to be difficult. You're not trying to manipulate. And you're certainly not weak. You just want to feel like your feelings and experiences matter. But when you're talking to someone who can't or won't hear you fully, no amount of words will bridge that gap. And that's not your failure. That's just the reality of the situation. I want to invite you to imagine something different for a moment. Imagine if you could let go of the need to justify every choice, every feeling, every part of yourself. Imagine if you could simply exist and be understood, not because you explained yourself perfectly, but because you stopped measuring your worth by someone else's ability to understand you. It might sound scary at first because we've been trained to believe that our worth depends on how well we can defend it, but there's a kind of freedom in releasing that weight. You're allowed to say, "This is who I am, this is how I feel," and that's enough. You don't owe anyone an essay on why you're sad, anxious, or hurt. You don't have to convince anyone that your perspective is valid. It already is. This isn't about shutting people out, or being cold, or refusing to communicate. It's about protecting your own space, honoring your own feelings, and recognizing that your time and energy are finite. When you stop explaining yourself constantly, you're not being selfish. You're being self-respecting. You're drawing invisible boundaries that others can't cross without your consent, and that's a powerful act of self-care. There will be moments when old habits creep back in. You might feel that tug to justify, to clarify, to convince, and when that happens, gently remind yourself you don't have to. Your experiences, your emotions, and your choices are valid simply because they're yours. You're allowed to hold them without apology. The day you stop explaining yourself is not a day you stop caring. It's a day you start caring for yourself in a way that's quiet, steady, and deep. It's a day when your energy stops being scattered across other people's perceptions and starts flowing inward, into you. That's when healing begins. That's when you start to feel lighter, more grounded, more fully yourself. So today, if you're feeling worn out by the need to justify who you are, try giving yourself permission to pause. Try letting go of the explanations, not because anyone else told you to, but because you deserve the peace that comes with simply being. You're allowed to exist without proving yourself. You're allowed to feel without defending those feelings. And most importantly, you're allowed to heal in your own time, in your own way. It's a quiet kind of freedom, not loud or celebratory, but steady, whispering, "I am enough. I don't need to justify or explain." That whisper grows into a gentle hum, reminding you this isn't the end of the struggle, but the start of something deeper, something that doesn't need perfect resolution, just the space to exist fully with all the messiness of being human. In that space, you begin to notice how you're learning to hold yourself gently, reclaiming the space that's always been yours. And slowly, you realize you don't need anyone else's validation to feel whole. You've been enough all along.